Hey everyone, this is Fallon here with Simulation TV, and I'm going to talk to you about the third game pack to come out for The Sims 4 series, Dine Out. This game pack is $20 US or your country's equivalent, and you can pick it up from the Origin store as it's digital only. Now, with Dine Out, like some of the other packs we've gotten, The Sims has given us a few restaurants to start us off with if we're not so great at building our own. And don't get me wrong, I'm really not great at building things myself, so don't feel bad if you stick with Chez Llama or Hogan's Burger Bar. I'm not going to tell anyone. The secret's safe with me. But anyhow, you know what? I really like this game pack. I think personally it's worth the $20 if you want to pick it up. But I understand that some people don't want to keep spending money on The Sims for things that are maybe not up to their standards. So I do want to go ahead and talk about what I do like and what I don't like about Dine Out. Now, aside from my opinion, pretty much, that the price is worth it, let's go over some features and why they're good and bad. Now, with Dine Out, this focuses on managing a restaurant. It is different than Get to Work, which was about managing a retail shop, and you don't need Get to Work to play Dine Out. They are separate, even though they all work together as far as being able to use the objects from each game pack. But you can play Dine Out completely by itself. You don't need Get to Work for it to, run or have fun or anything like that. But so the point of this game pack is that you are the manager. You're the owner of the restaurant. You yourself cannot be the chef or the waiter or the host. This is good and bad for some simmers. Some simmers wanted to be able to have the option, much like an Open for Business for Sims 2, where they could personally be the waiter or the chef or the host, depending on who they felt like hiring and who they didn't feel like hiring. But in this one, you can't. And actually, Sim Guru Ninja said specifically in their Sims Twitch stream that they didn't feel like it would be fun for us as players to just stand there and watch our Sims, just go through the motions, because really in Open for Business we weren't actively controlling what our Sims cooked or how our Sims served. We were basically letting the game dictate what was happening automatically based on what the customers ordered. And it would be, I guess, much the same in Dine Out, where your chef sim would just be cooking things automatically, much like your hired chef worker does. But it's not all negative, because being the manager, you do have interaction with the customers. There's a little menu that pops up when the customers sit down, the management menu. You can welcome them, you can check on the table, you can give them free desserts or drinks, or just give them a free meal depending on how their experience is going. And sometimes that can help you if your NPC customers are dipping down into the 2s and 1s of an experience. But aside from that, one of the really cool things is now we've actually got the ability to own more than one restaurant. And if you do have Get to Work, you can actually own a restaurant and a retail business at the same time. Now, with the restaurants, however, one of the perks is you don't necessarily need to be at the restaurant to open it. You can be at home or anywhere in the Sims world, click on the menu icon that comes with the restaurants, kind of like how you get an icon for clubs and for retail stores, but you can click on your restaurant and click open and it'll run without you. Of course, you might not do as well with the customers if you're not physically there to handle complaints, but there's no obligation to be at the restaurant to run it, which is great because that really helps to enforce the fact that we can have more than one restaurant. You can have 2, 3 restaurants, have like a restaurant chain going, and you only need to stop by them when you want to. Also, with the restaurants and Dine Out comes this awesome new menu system. So before, we pretty much only had Open for Business to compare this with, but you only got text-based menu. With this menu, you see what the food looks like. And now I know there's going to be some disparity between food that we had before and then the new experimental food that comes with Dine Out, but some of the food items look really amazing. They did a really nice job on the thumbnails for the dishes, and they even updated some of the older dishes to make them look a little bit better for the menu, so you can see exactly what your Sims are going to be ordering or drinking. But then we come to a downside. You can actually only have 30 items per category. Now, you may be thinking, wait, Fallon, 30 items is a lot per category. That means 30 drinks, 30 appetizers, 30 main courses, and 30 desserts. But when you think about it, it's actually not that much. If you encompass as much food as they allow us to have from multiple game packs, you can have ice cream, you can have pizza, the new experimental food. They couldn't even add all of the food from the old original menu, but it's still a lot. Once you start picking and choosing the things you want on your menu, you can very easily go over 30, and it will tell you have too many things on the menu and you need to start taking things away, because it won't even let you accept at that point. You have to backtrack and take things off your menu until you get back down to that 30 limit. I mean, for some, it's not a big deal. The Sunnyside Up Diner only serves breakfast and burgers, I think, so their menu doesn't really need that many items. But I was building my own restaurant, and I found that what I wanted to put on the menu, I very quickly got to that barrier. I mean, which in my opinion sucks, but there might be a mod sooner than later giving us more than the 30 food limit item. I just don't know how negatively that will affect your game, and you download and use mods at your own discretion. Always make sure you read the directions fully and completely, and make some backup saves of your games just in case. The employees are a lot better in Dine Out. They're not the same fiddle-faddling employees you can get with retail, but I have noticed the waiter or the waitress does sometimes goof around. They're pretty much the only employee that's not at a full-time station. The chef never leaves the stove, so you don't have to worry about him doing anything. And the host, once she seats the table, she goes right back to the host station. So they do a pretty good job, and they keep they keep on task. You just have to, like I said, watch the waiter. Here and there, I've had my waiter go swimming. I've had my waiter talk on the phone, kick over trash cans. So you just, have to deal with some stuff like that. A negative with the employees, however, is you can't actually send them on breaks. There's no icon over their head to tell you if they're still happy or if they're getting tired or need to go home. The closest thing you get is if your store is open for an extended period of time, you could get a notification that your employees are starting to get tired and their performance could suffer. And the only way to alleviate this is to actually close the restaurant down and send your employees home and then reopen your restaurant later. That's kind of a bummer for me, because even if I hire more than one waiter or more than one chef, I still can't alternate between them to send the tired one home and bring the fresh one on. Everybody comes once the restaurant's open, and they're not going to go home until you close it. So it would have been nice if we'd been able to tell them, hey, go on a break. And I don't know if that's because we'd be forced to buy multiple employees right off the bat or what, but it's a feature that, is just kind of sad to see that it's not there. Another kind of weird aspect of Dine Out is that sometimes you can't actually tell when your customers are done. You basically, as the manager, click on one of the customers at the table, bring up the manager menu, and then you welcome them or check on the table or come through whatever. But sometimes they're just done and still sitting at the table, and you don't realize this until you actually click on one of the Sims and you no longer have a manager menu. You just have, friendly introduction, rude introduction. So that aspect could have been a little bit better. The indicator that those Sims have paid and they're done. Also, sometimes the customers, when they're done, they just don't leave. They are talking, you're in a conversation, and they just stand there and look at your fish tank all day. One of the nice things is, of course, there are new Create Sim items and new food items, not just the experimental food, but new items that your Sims can cook, like clam chowder. I think minestrone is a new item. And there are a couple of other ones, but it's hard for me to remember at this point what is a base food item and what's a game pack food item. So we're just going to leave it at that. Now, of course, if your Sim goes to the restaurant themselves and eats the experimental food, they can go back home and use the stove that comes with Dine Out to cook the experimental food. It is kind of big, so you're going to need to make your kitchen the appropriate size. However, but it's cool that they can at least take the items home since they can't cook them right there when the restaurant is open. If you want to try to live above your restaurant, you can, because we have locked doors, but there is, a couple of obstacles that you're going to have to work around. The table and chair system in Dine Out does not allow you to sit at a regular table even if the restaurant is closed. They're all considered reserved tables for customers. The workaround that I found in my own restaurant that I made was to put down a couple of kitchen island counters with some bar stools. And apparently those just don't count as, a dining table. So your personal Sims can sit there when they're hungry. Now, another kind of weird bug or just side effect from this is that sometimes your customers will hop tables to sit at your kitchen island counter when they're not supposed to. I've had a couple of customers be seated by the host, and then before their food has come, they've decided to get up and sit at my bar stools, and then sometimes they don't even end up eating their food because the food just sits at the table that they are supposed to be sitting at instead of my only table that I can sit at when my Sim is hungry. This might get addressed in a patch, or it could just be because they really don't want us to live above our restaurants. And another thing that goes along with this is I have a bed upstairs, and I noticed that when there were no walls separating the bed from the computer, my father's Sim started getting upset with his daughter's Sim who was sleeping. He kept getting up to scold her on her inappropriate behavior, and I actually had to build a wall between them. So have to make sure the bedrooms are their own room. No more open floor, open plan in your above restaurant house. But I mean, not everybody lives in a studio type apartment like that, so it shouldn't be a problem. But for, you know, just to make it easy, I'd probably put every bed in their own room. And this could also be a weird bug. It only happened once for me, and then I immediately built the wall, so you never know. A cool thing though is the food critic that comes. That of course is new with Dine Out. There were no special, you know, mystery shoppers or anything with Get to Work, but with Dine Out you get a food critic and you can tell who they are because they have a little banner underneath of their star that lets you know they're special. So you can prioritize their food if you want, give them a little bit of extra attention so that they're happier and give you a better score. Of course, it does help if your chef is higher level, can cook all of the food on your menu. I didn't mention this earlier, but another really cool aspect of the menu is that it tells you how difficult it is to cook that particular food. Now, I personally don't care, and if I take food off my menu, I'm gonna forget what I wanted to put on in the first place. So I'm like, yeah, whatever, my cook will get better over time. While he's at work, he's learning skills, and if you get a bad bowl of soup, you know, today or tomorrow or the next week, you know, I'll just give you some free desserts until you learn how to cook a bowl of soup and a garden salad. But it's still a nice feature, so you can start out, you know, well and not worry about cooking things poorly because they're too hard for your chef. So, I mean, overall, there are good and bad things. I think the couple of things I forgot to mention while I was ranting were that if you own multiple restaurants, the perks are shared among your restaurants. So it's kind of like an incentive to have more than one restaurant because you don't have to, you know, go to every single restaurant every day and grind for those perk points. You get ingredient quality check on one restaurant and it's good for all of them. You get the you get the curious like chef recommendation perk and you get it for all of them. So I mean, that's really cool. And another thing is that even when your restaurant's open, you can go into build mode and change things up. You don't have to close the restaurant, have the Sims wait for them to get off your lot. You can just pause it, go into build mode, and start rearranging. So there are some pretty nice features about Dine Out that I like. There are some things that I don't like so much. You know, I really would have liked it if there were actually more themed items in Dine Out and didn't rely on you to have all different kinds of packs. I was trying to build a pirate restaurant and there were only a couple of sea-related decorations, windows aside. So, you know, I was really kind of disappointed from watching the trailers, thinking that I was going to be able to build a specific themed restaurant and have all kinds of crazy new decorations for it. And I understand maybe it's time consuming to have 5 or 6 specific decorations for each type of theme, but you know, it was something that I was disappointed with, and I'm sure some other people are too. But overall, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and give this a 7 out of 10. There are things that could be better, but there are things that are really great about this game pack. And like I said in the beginning, $20 is pretty good value for the ability to have a restaurant, have almost anything you want on the menu, you know, decorate it the way you want to have it, and to have more than one restaurant at a time. So I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I hope you will take this to heart in your decision. So thank you so much, guys, for watching, and you have a great day. We will see you next time.
Wow, that was loud. Oh, you're gonna eat that, huh? You're gonna eat it. I see. What? Nothing. Okay.
And now she is tossing that salad with her... Stop sticking your finger in your ear! Alright, she's tossing the salad with her earwax.
It does. It does them really well. Okay.
Oh, they're coming for you, Pablo!
Shit.
Run!
Oh, yeah. These road trips, man, are killing me. Anyway, let me know whenever we are recording. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Extended Play. I'm your host, this is Stuart, and that is a fancy, fancy sign. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.